And right now we're joined by Clinical Vice President of First Step, Bob Piper. Bob, welcome for the special coverage that we've been presenting tonight. And you're kind of in the front lines of all of this. So how bad is this?
Well, I mean, obviously it's bad. It's bad nationally, it's bad locally. We're seeing a lot of people who normally an addiction process might take a long time to get to where it destroys your life and kills you, but we're seeing it happen pretty fast these days with the opiate crisis.
Yeah.
Is that because it's becoming more lethal? Or is it laced with anything that it wasn't years ago?
Well, I think there are many complicated factors, but that's certainly one of them, is that when we had the pill crisis, and that's when we really first started seeing the coroner's data coming in, that people were dying in large numbers.
At a higher rate.
At a higher rate, absolutely. It was all prescription drugs, so people were dying, usually from a combination of those drugs and other central nervous system depressants, which strengthen each other, and you stop breathing, you die. Now, however, we pretty much shut those pill mills down. We got the bad actors out of the picture, but the addiction's in the person, not in the drug. So we began to see heroin overdoses starting to skyrocket. So now you not only can die from overdosing by taking too much or mixing them, you also can die from being poisoned because you're buying a street product that you have no idea what's in it or what its strength is.
And we hear about fentanyl, carfentanil.
Those are some of the names, yeah. I just use poison.
Now, how many new addiction cases do you see in a month, for instance, on heroin alone?
Well, you know, opiates, if you look at our admissions to our detox center, and you come out into the 80s where cocaine hit, alcohol is always steady through the middle, by the way. But cocaine was skyrocketing. Crack became the great monster. And then over the last, you know, we came out of the 80s and, so, you know, it kind of paralleled the economic crash with a lot of anxiety about the future. And we began to see cocaine drift down and opiates shoot upward.
Yeah.
Now, what kind of toll does this take on the family members and the friends?
Well, it's horrible. I mean, burying your child is probably one of the worst things that someone could ever have to do. Families are torn apart by this.
And if you're in the throes of addiction, that can be very difficult because you just, for the family seeing that, I would think.
Yes, because it eventually puts them up against their powerlessness. As the person with the addictive disorder is powerless over the process of their disease, the family is just as powerless over being able to control that, although everyone loves their offspring enough to want to control it. It unfortunately, it can't be done. The people who are dying have to save themselves. And there's a lot of people out there today not doing what it takes to save themselves.
So it's family, it's law enforcement, it's hospitals,
it's all of us.
The addiction services.
It's all of us. Although, you know, one important thing to keep in mind is that treatment for people with addictive disorders has generally not been available. As a diagnostic-related group, addictive disorders, historically, about 10% of the people who needed the service were able to access it. We're fortunate in Sarasota that we have if you fall between the crack safety net, if you will, in the Viper program, which First Step helped start, where if you don't have insurance, you don't have money, and you don't fit the targeted population for a grant program, there's something for you. And it, you know, as I like to say, for a long time now, when the student's ready, the teacher appears. And the Salvation Army is a good place to get well. First Step is a good place to get well. It's just a matter of people being able to access it, and the person who has the condition fighting to save their life.
Bob, thank you very much. Very important work that you're
welcome.
doing. Really appreciate you joining us.
Thanks for having us and helping us spread the message.
Absolutely.